I'm Caitriona Perry in Washington, and this is BBC World News America. Israel says it has found the body of a hostage in Gaza as it continues a military offensive at the largest hospital there. President Biden says the US and China are working to strengthen ties at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum. And a major river in crisis, a look at whether a vital lifeline for several Asian countries can be saved. Hello and welcome to World News America. I'm Caitriona Perry. Israeli Defense Forces say they have found the body of a hostage in the Gaza Strip. Yehudit Weiss was one of the people abducted by Hamas during its attacks on October 7th, taken from her home near the border between Israel and Gaza. The Israeli Foreign Ministry says Weiss was a 65-year-old cancer patient whose husband was murdered by Hamas in the October 7th attacks. She was reportedly discovered at a building adjacent to the Al-Shifa hospital, which remains the centre point of the war. Israeli Defense Forces have been carrying out what they call precise and targeted operational activity within the hospital. Meanwhile, across Gaza, communications are down. Multiple telecoms firms there say phone and internet services are not working due to a lack of fuel. The firms say all energy sources supporting their generators have run out, as Israel has only allowed one fuel delivery into Gaza since the war began just over a month ago. A little earlier, I spoke to the BBC's Nick Beake. The leaders of the world's two biggest economies, China and the United States, say they've made progress after their first in-person meeting in more than a year. President Xi and President Biden met on the sidelines at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum this week. Since the 1990s, the leaders of 21 Asia-Pacific countries have met annually to discuss trade and investment across the region. The US is hosting this year's conference in San Francisco. In recent years, the US strategy has been steered by competition with China. Xi Jinping described China's relationship with the US as the most important in the world. But tensions remain between the two, with President Biden saying on Wednesday that he still considers Xi a dictator. At the CEO summit on Thursday, President Biden told business leaders where the United States' relationship with China now stands.
Our discussions have always been candid and constructive. I again emphasize to President Xi that the United States does not seek conflict. And yesterday we announced resumption of military-to-military communication channels to reduce the risk of accidental miscalculation.
Well, we can go to San Francisco now and speak to my colleague, Sumi Somaskanda. Sumi, talk us through what's been happening at the summit there today. Okay, Sumi in San Francisco, thank you very much for that. Well, a little earlier, I spoke to US Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy about the significance of that Xi-Biden meeting. Congressman Krishnamurthy, thanks indeed for joining us on BBC News. President Xi and President Biden have both been speaking about US-China competition not veering into conflict. President Biden saying today it's not all kumbaya, but it is straightforward. Do you think relations will have improved following this meeting? Congressman Krishnamurthy, thanks so much for joining us on BBC News.
Thank you so much.
The former British Prime Minister David Cameron made a visit to Ukraine, his first as the UK Foreign Secretary. While there, Lord Cameron met with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Lord Cameron was appointed as Foreign Secretary earlier this week by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. In his visit to Kyiv, he reiterated the UK's backing of Ukraine, promising to provide military support for, as he said, however long it takes. The UK has provided Ukraine with billions of dollars in military aid since Russia launched its invasion in early 2022. The BBC's Ukraine correspondent James Waterhouse is in Kyiv with more on Lord Cameron's visit. Well, let's check in now on some other stories making news. In Illinois, at least 38 people were reportedly injured on Thursday when a Chicago Transit Authority train hit a snowplow on the track. 23 people were taken to the hospital, 7 of whom were employees of the local transit authority. An investigation is now underway. Rescue teams in northern India are optimistic about new drilling machines on the 5th day of searching through rubble for trapped construction workers. 40 men have been stuck in a collapsed tunnel since Sunday when a landslide crushed the partially built roadway they were working on. Well, there are fears that the Mekong River in Asia, which has one of the richest ecosystems on Earth, is in crisis. The Mekong sustains more than 60 million lives as it travels through China and Southeast Asia. It's facing an onslaught of dam building, intensifying climate change and sand dredging. Downstream communities living on the region's largest lake, the Tonle Sap in Cambodia, are reporting a decline in fish stocks of more than 80% over the past 20 years. Our Asia-Pacific correspondent Laura Bicker is in Cambodia to ask if the mighty Mekong can be saved. Well, that's it from us for the moment. You can keep up to date, as always, on bbc.com/news. I'm Caitriona Perry. Thank you for watching World News America. Do take care. Bye-bye now.
Hello. Storm Frederico has been swinging eastwards across